And now, the star of the show, Jordan Rogozinski.
Hello, folks. Welcome back to the Jordan 411 Sports Show. Today we're going to talk about the CFL playoffs and most of all the breakup between the Montreal Alouettes and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Now I would like to welcome two special guests, Michael.
Welcome, Jordan. Great to be back. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. And a special guest that making his debut on the Jordan 411 Sports Show, my brother, Jeremy Rogozinski. Welcome, Jeremy.
Hey, Jordan. Thanks for having me.
So I have a question. I have a question for both of you before we get started.
Yeah.
You guys have been doing this show how long?
I want to say since grade 10.
Okay, and this is your first appearance on the show because why?
I was more of a behind-the-scenes guy, so I would help him with his questions and help organize things, and so it never came up for me to go on the show. So.
It just never came up.
I'm happy for the opportunity, though.
Yeah, well, fair enough. Welcome to the show. All I gotta say it's about time. Just remember, just remember, I'm one-upping you in appearances right now. This is my second, not your first.
Yep.
However, let's start football. Jordan?
Yeah. The first topic is Chad Kelly had his worst game of his career in the Eastern Final, and my question is, why do you guys think so? I have my thoughts.
Well, I think, Jordan, I think it finally came out, 2 days ago now, 3 days ago now, but apparently he had a concussion during the Eastern Final, and apparently it happened in the first quarter. I have some questions about that because at the end of the game, he didn't shake anybody's hand, and people thought it was poor sportsmanship. He said he wasn't feeling very good. My question is, how does the team not know about this? How did the spotters not pull him out? How do the coaches not sense that something's very wrong? That interception, that pitch hits by Marc-Antoine Dubois to kind of start things off was kind of interesting in itself because I think he gave it right to him after he jumped the route.
Yes, he did.
And then, of course, I think it was in the third quarter where he got intercepted 3 drives in a row. It's interesting how you have your worst game of the season when you haven't really faced adversity, and that's just the way it goes. To me, I said this to a couple of people. If he didn't have it early, I would have put Cameron Dukes in. He's won a game before. I understand you want your MOP candidate, to fight through it, but there comes the point of no return. And the amazing part was it was 8 or 9 turnovers, but yet they were in striking distance for most part of that game, Jeremy.
Yep. I would say, it was a shocker that he's final. I was totally expecting to play Toronto, and I never expected Chad Kelly to play like that. Like, that was wow. But, I kind of was saying all year that Toronto kind of had it too easy. They didn't face enough adversity. You have to face adversity. You have to lose, right? Losing will make you better, right? Yeah, it sucks to lose, but it'll make you improve and keep making you better, right? You don't want to go 16-2. Like, look at us last year. We went 15-3. We thought we were invincible and lost in the Grey Cup, right? So it was like roles reversed, eh?
But that was a complete different type of play, right? I mean, we did have that adversity, in the West Final, which we overcame. And there's different ways to look at adversity, I think. Um, and there is no playbook when your division is as bad as it was and you clinched first place since, Labor Day.
Yeah.
There is no playbook on how to play the last quarter of the season.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
What are your thoughts, Jordan?
I think that's pretty awful that they let him play with a concussion. That's pretty selfish. I understand it, but they talk about health of the quarterbacks all the time in every league. And they could have won, right? If they played Cameron Duth. Not saying they would have, but it could have been way more competitive.
That I'm wondering, we're kind of discussing, Chad Kelly had a concussion, Chad Kelly had a concussion. What if no symptoms actually started showing up till the second half or late in the football game? There's not much you can really do, right? It's not. There's some concussions where you don't feel the symptoms right away till after the fact or the next day, which I heard was really bad for Chad Kelly. So maybe we should be cutting him some slack here. But for me, he got no help from his receivers. His defense was left on an island later in the second half. They were on the field so much.
Yeah.
It happens, and I don't know what the playbook is. I know there's a lot of people that have a lot of Schadenfreude for him, and that's a German word for pride over other people's misfortune. But again, I just think it happens. It happened to the 16-2 Edmonton team when they lost to the 9-9 Riders all those years ago.
Yeah.
We just have to ask one Suter how that went. Boy, I think that's just the nature too of a one game.
Oh yeah.
A one game scenario, and Toronto has to be better than this going forward, and I think they will be.
Oh, I have no doubt that they're gonna come back next year and dominate. I think the whole East Division needs to play tougher competition.
Yep.
And Randy Ambrosie said already next year every team's gonna play each other twice, which I think is good. Because I found it a bit too easy for the East.
Yeah, they were Toronto was 11-0 in their division coming into this one, and well,
yeah.
And that's the other thing, right? I mean, I think I said it on our football podcast, right? There's a lot of things that have to go wrong. It's very hard to beat somebody 4 times in a season. That would have been the 4th time. It happens. It's football, and I think that's the nature of a one-game playoff.
Yeah. That's the crappy thing about football is it's not a 7-game series. It's one game, and if you're off that day, you're done.
Yeah, and you know what? Even in the best of 3, right? Your goalie does hot one game, you steal the next one, right? You have a chance. Best of 5 and best of 7, the better team typically finds a way to pull it out.
Yeah.
Now, do you think Chad Kelly would have eliminated some of the turnovers? It would have been a better outcome.
No,
I
I think Montreal was so dialed in, but I don't think it would have mattered who the quarterback was.
So it could have been like Hamilton Tiger Cats, and they could have won still.
But again, you know what? You fight to win the game. You win the representation. They won the semifinal. They had every right to be there. They're the hottest team in the CFL right now. Let's put it that way. And I mean, I think they've won something like 6 in a row now, coming into this Grey Cup, which nobody's really talking about. Yeah, so no, credit where credit's due. Moss had the crew rolling at the right time.
And that defense is good. That Eliminator's playing good now.
Yeah.
For sure.
I can't believe Sean Lemon was just sitting there all year and no one took him. You know?
You want to know something to me? Darnell Sainty and Sean Lemon single-handedly turned that defense, which was pretty good, into a great defense.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And what happened in the West Final, Jordan?
Oh, yeah. Well, in the West Final, me and my brother were there. It was awesome. Not as cold as the past two, to be honest. But the first drive with Brady Oliveira was amazing. I wasn't expecting all that running, even though I think BC O-line is too small. But
D-line, not O-line.
Their D-line, not O-line. And I don't know, did you guys think he was going to run that much in the first drive?
Absolutely. Did I think he would get all 80-something yards on an opening drive?
Yeah.
Thanks to a pass, which was one of them, a couple passes, slant passes. To me, here's the thing, and I think I said this on the podcast as well the week before. BC has no running game. No disrespect to Taekwon Mizell or Hardy, whoever they've had at running back. They have had absolutely no reason to run the ball because Vernon Adams throws for 400 yards. The minute you start putting some pressure on them, they fall behind, and now the Bombers start to man the clock. Boy, things change in a hurry. And to me, I think Brady Oliveira is the Bombers' best weapon. I think that offensive line is the best weapon. And you go on that first drive of the football game and you say, hey, guys, this is our best. Try to stop it. Good luck. We're doing it until you stop it. And that's what happened.
It's crazy to me, like, they know we're going to run it, and they still can't stop it. Like, that's what's crazy. You know, that's just, like, pure will. Like, that's, you know. And, that was amazing. That got the whole stadium fired up. That was wild. I was jumping up and down and like, oh, yeah, baby.
Yeah.
That first touchdown was actually very amazing. It was.
Yeah,
because he wasn't in the end zone.
He need help from his body. Line.
You know what? And guys, you wonder why players work out in the weight room in the middle of February.
Yeah.
That's why.
Look at that drive. Pushing the pile to the end zone.
Yeah. With help from the big boys, but
you know, Brady Oliveira,
his legs are huge.
Remember, and there's a story on BlueBombers.com. Sorry to get a little bit off topic here, but there's a story on BlueBombers.com about Brady Oliveira. First half of last year, but I didn't have it going. He was questioning his ability
to run the ball.
Done really bad. But he's been able to find it since then, and now he's turned into probably the most dominant Canadian running back since John Cornish.
I think last year was a coach that told them that you need to run north-south.
Yeah.
Instead of going east-west. You need to lower your pad level and go through guys.
Yeah.
And ever since he's been doing that, he changed. He's now one of the best running backs in the league. He just needed to be reminded that he needs to go north.
He needed to be reminded that he can do this.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And now look at him. I remember the beginning of last year, 1 yard, 2 yard. He'd lose yards. And now, then a coach sat him down and told him, look, just go north. Just go. And look at him now.
Yeah, he gonna be a big weapon in the breakup.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But speaking of the breakup, what do you think of that matchup between the Montreal West and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers?
Oh, you don't want to talk about the sacks? The 9-10 sacks we got?
Sure, we'll mention
that was crazy. 9-10 sacks. They couldn't stop us if they tried.
No. That our D-line was on another mission.
Yeah. But I think it was because of a crowd, because they probably couldn't hear when he was doing his cadence. So I think we got to jump a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Because the D-line just goes when the ball moves.
Yeah.
So, no, the crowd definitely played a big factor in that West Final. That's why it's so important to get home field advantage.
Yeah. That's why you work for it during the year.
But I can't believe 9 sacks in one game. Or 10. I don't know I think it was 9. The Bombers said 9, so I'm going to go with that. But 9 sacks in one game. That's wild. Yeah. You're playing good when you get that.
And you know what, guys? It was interesting. I don't know if you talked about this while I was gone. Vernon Adams had a real reluctance to run the ball.
Yeah.
Which tells me he was more hurt than we're led to believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because usually the Bombers, historically, defensively, have had issues with quarterbacks like that. Running out of the pocket, running around. They were able to neutralize them pretty well. And 9 sacks. It was a sack party, let's just say that.
Oh, yeah. It was crazy how many times he was just standing there. Nothing was open. And he's just standing there waiting for the D-line to come and get him. Well,
and that's a credit to the DBs, I think. They were taking away a lot of the options. If you look at
they were.
If you look at the high-up camera on the wide receivers, there's nothing there. He doesn't want to run the ball. What's he supposed to do?
I know, eh? Yeah. Just come to Papa.
The part that makes me a little bit sort of questioning is, and Jordan Simmons is a great coordinator.
Oh, yeah, he is.
I don't understand why he didn't use Taekwon Mizell more to take the pressure off the situation. I'm not too sure what was up with that, to be honest.
Run the ball a bit. Do play action once you get the run game going enough.
Well, I mean, even in the first quarter, there was that one. There was that one where I think it was a play action, and Johnson Jeffco was basically in the backfield by the time VA kind of launched that play action.
Yeah.
And that's just good film study. The Bombers read the book. They are committed to film study as a unit to benefit each other, and that's just the way it is.
They're committed to the process.
And you know what? They needed every one of those sacks.
Yeah.
Because the offense, again, I thought didn't have a great game.
No.
Minus Oliveira. I mean, Oliveira, to me, I don't want to say he was a non-factor after that first drive, but he was certainly...
Yeah, they figured him out a bit.
And you know what it was? It was the run blitz. They started blitzing all those holes for to the run.
Yeah.
But hindsight's 2020, right?
Yeah. And what else here? The defense won us that game by far.
And you know what? To be honest, that's something we haven't had a lot of this year.
No.
The Bomber defense is old. Yeah. The Bomber defense is not good. Yeah. This is the Jacques Talaros team and nothing else. Well,
in the biggest game.
Defense wins the next biggest game of the season. So the naysayers can be quiet for a little bit.
For sure, yeah. Yeah, it's crazy though. Like I was listening to Vernon Adam post game, and he even said that we need to have more of a running game next year. We need to do some of that RPO, run pass option.
Now, there was one Debbie Downer in the game, and that is that the Bombers lost Adam Bighill to injury.
Yeah.
What do we think about that, Jordan?
Well, when I first saw it, because I was at the game and watching the play, I saw non-contact, and I typically go to Achilles right away, but I'm happy it's not that for him. But it's
Apparently, it's
gonna
not
be
an
a big
Achilles
loss.
injury. The Bombers are calling it a calf injury. If you read the injury report, which is interesting. I think that's why O'Shea didn't rule him out immediately after.
Yeah. It's gonna be a big loss if he can go.
Prediction, I think both him and Sean play.
Me too.
Yeah.
Can you talk maybe about, I know this wasn't in the outline, but Malik Clements and Brian Cole filling in for him. What did you guys see in the stadium in that regard? Because it's interesting because the leader of the defense goes down, but I thought those two filled in admirably.
No, they were very communicative. It seemed like they knew what they were doing from the naked eye, at least. They were very involved in the play, and they got sacks, so that's a good plus.
The biggest thing for me was there was no letdown. Like we just kept coming and coming and coming, right? There was no letdown. They knew what they were doing. They communicated. Like they just fit in seamlessly. But that goes to Adam Bighill, right? He's like a coach. He's like a coach. He probably coached those guys, right, every day in the film room, and because everyone has to know what they're doing, even if you're a backup, right? Because injuries happen.
Yeah, and I think that's why I'm not as worried about his injury as I would be any other predominant player, just because I know he's there coaching them right now, whether he didn't play or not.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Anything else you wanted to touch on, Jordan?
The quarterback matchup, I guess. And then we can end it.
Yeah, also, too, just to put a note on the West Final, that's now 5 straight sellouts for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Amazing fan support. I can't remember that happening in Winnipeg I know. In my lifetime.
It's crazy.
What do we think of this Cody Fajardo's Colaros matchup? We'll start with Jeremy this time.
Yeah, it's intriguing. I mean, you have the 2-time MOP, and then you have Cody. I mean, with Cody, you never know what you're gonna get. You know, he's very unpredictable, right? You don't know what you're gonna get with Cody Fajardo, right? You don't.
I know what you're gonna get with the spin move.
Oh yeah, the spin move. Yeah, you got to watch out for that. But you know, I mean, in the East Final, I mean, yeah, Montreal offense. I think they got 2 touchdowns.
Very late in the game.
They had short field to work with too, so I don't know what to say about Cody Fajardo. I don't know, but Zach is Zach. I mean, as long as he doesn't turn over the ball, we'll be okay.
Here's how I see this, and I hate to sound a homer, and I'll get Jordan's thoughts on this in a minute. It almost sounds too simple. Don't turn the ball over 8 times. Take away time and space from Fajardo, and you'll be okay. It almost sounds too simple, doesn't it, Jordan?
Yes, it does. This game sounds way simpler than last year because we love playing Cody Fajardo. like Willie's gonna go off, Jackson's gonna go off because they lost playing him. He's probably having nightmares right now.
Yeah, it's interesting to me, guys, because I wouldn't be shocked in this one if the Bombers blow them away. Nor would I wouldn't also be shocked if it's a 9-6 game at halftime.
Yeah, it could go either way.
So what do we think of it? I mean, it's hard to believe, but in the 100+ years of the Grey Cup, this is the first time these two teams are meeting. Granted, now there's some stories amongst this, and for context, the Bombers and Alouettes were in the same division for the majority.
Mm-hmm.
So that would never really be a matchup. Or, well, the years that the Bombers were in the West, Montreal never made it. It's interesting, huh?
Yeah, I like it. What do you think about it, Jeremy?
Yeah, I like it. It's intriguing, A new team in the East, a matchup we've never seen, right? There's lots to talk about. Lots of storylines, lots of new storylines, right? Lots of different matchups, like Oliveira Stanback, our receiving core, their receiving core, our defense, their defense, the two O-lines. I mean, Montreal gave up 7 sacks in the East Final.
The two coaches?
The coaches, yeah. I mean,
they coached in Toronto together, so
yeah, they're like best friends,
Yeah.
Did you guys happen to see any of the Randy Ambrosie State of the League address?
I've heard some things on Twitter. I didn't actually see it.
Yeah, it sounds like put up or shut up for the Maritime football team there.
Yeah.
Which is about time. It sounds like the CFL playoffs will remain on Saturday minus the Grey Cup.
Which I like it on Saturday.
Get away from me, NFL.
Yeah.
And then just overall growth for the CFL was another thing.
And the balanced schedule.
Yes, yeah. That to me, now I think you're gonna get a fair depiction of a lot of teams' records. I've always found it silly that which Eastern team did the Bombers not go to this year? Was it
Ottawa?
Toronto.
Toronto.
We didn't go to Toronto, and they put him in the Grey played him in the Grey Cup last year. How silly was that? But we didn't go there.
Bo Levi didn't go back to Calgary. Fajardo didn't go back to Saskatchewan. And
why?
I know, eh?
But I understand that the schedule is made before the free agency because it usually comes out before Christmas. So, yeah, it's nice to see that they're going to go back to that.
Yeah. Toronto shouldn't be playing Hamilton 4 times.
Yeah.
Now, Jordan, you wanted to talk about the receiving corps of these two teams?
Yeah, I think it's a landslide.
Pardon?
Like, Montreal's all right, but
yeah, you know what, Montreal. Let's run through this. Let's take Dalton Schoen out of this because we don't know if he's going to be playing.
Yeah.
You guys can help me with this. Kenny Lawler, modified number 1 on a lot of teams.
Yeah.
Drew Wolotarski.
Rasheed Bailey.
Nick Dempsey. Brendan O'Leary-Orange.
And did we say Wolotarski?
Yep.
Yeah. Who else?
Greg McRae.
Oh, yeah, Greg McRae.
Yeah.
And then Austin played the last game there against Calgary.
Yeah.
Now let's run this through for Montreal, and we'll need a little bit of help with this. Speaker.
Tyson Philpott.
Brandt.
Julian Grant.
Austin Mack.
Yeah. Keon Julian Grant.
Yeah, he's kind of been MIA the last little bit, but
Mayala,
Do we give a decided advantage to Winnipeg based on those two lists?
based on those two, yeah, you have to.
Well, the only one I know on Montreal is Austin Mack. So,
Well,
Yeah.
they throw to him the most, so
Phil Potts had a good second half too. Missed
yeah,
most of the year because of injury.
yeah.
Dewey and Grant can't seem to stay healthy.
Yeah.
No.
Did we learn anything? I know this wasn't in the notes, but it was just kind of while we're talking about the receivers here. Did we learn anything about the value of Rasheed Bailey and Nick Dempsey in the lineup, although they were question marks? Not necessarily from a run catching ability, but from maybe a blocking perspective, what those two bring to the lineup?
Oh yeah. It would have been a lot different, I feel, with them out.
Yeah, those two guys are like energy guys, right? They're like Rasheed is a hell of a player, man. He blocked. When he catches the ball, like he runs with a purpose.
He's like that
You know?
Superman touchdown where he dives for the pylon against Calgary.
Yeah.
And you could see why he wanted to stay in Winnipeg. Everybody thought he was gone, and then he came back
and you know what? Apparently, he took less money too.
Well, absolutely, you have to. You have to.
Yep.
But
so that we're almost out of time, Jordan. I'll get you to do your wrap up in a second, but I think it's appropriate that we talked about our picks for the game.
Yep.
Jordan, you want to go first?
Do we want to do picks and then like score predictions?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Winnipeg, obviously. But score. Let's go 23-24 by
24-23.
By 1 point.
Oh, 24-23.
Yeah. And Sergio Castillo kicks the winning field goal.
Revenge best served cold, right? Different opponent, but revenge from last year on the block, huh?
Yeah.
What are you thinking, Jeremy?
Winnipeg will win. I think we're due for 33-21.
So a less stressful second half is what you're thinking.
Yeah.
I'm going the other way. Montreal 23, Winnipeg 20.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
You don't beat Toronto without getting some respect. I know I said on certain Discord channels, but I felt Bombers were going to blow Montreal away. But there's just been way too many Grey Cups in recent memory where the team that is the heavy favorite doesn't end up winning. Never mind covering the spread.
Yeah.
Right now, that spread is, I think last I saw 8 or 8.5 points.
8.5, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's going to be under that. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a defensive struggle in this one.
Well, yeah, two good defenses. I mean,
is it going to be windy?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Well, duh. We're in Hamilton.
Really quickly, guys, what are we thinking on the Winnipeg Jets?
Well, not bad. Except when you go 11-7 and you got an injury on Tuesday, but overall not bad. I wonder when Rick Bowness will return.
Yeah, that's kind of been that underlying. But the team's dealt with adversity all year and pushed through.
Yeah.
I'm very curious what's going to happen this weekend against Buffalo and Arizona, and then next week, Tampa and Florida and Nashville and St. Louis, I think, on the next trip.
Yeah. I mean, it's been good. A little bit up, a little bit down, But I've been impressed with the new guys I follow. Chuck Velarde got hurt, but he'll be back soon. Kapari's now hurt, so. But yeah, the new guys have been good. From
There,
what I
there just seems to be a new attitude. Like of the games that we played, I think there's only been 2 no shows,
yeah,
and they seem to be no showing 1 game a week last year. So
yeah, yeah. And the other thing I'll say is Shifley's smiling.
yeah,
That's
and then Connor's tied for the lead in goal. So
Yeah, that's crazy to me.
I think the room is very good this year. I don't think there's any drama or anything. You know?
I think it's interesting, right? What happens when you get rid of Blake Wheeler? Now he could be a polarizing subject.
Yeah.
Same with Dubois.
Yeah.
I mean, I read an article about
I know.
this morning out of LA that seemed to insinuate they needed more out of Dubois, and I just rolled my eyes going,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Happy we don't have you anymore.
Enjoy him
Yes.
for 8 years.
not our problem anymore, right?
No.
Yeah.
Really quickly, we haven't had a show since then. What do you think of the Hellebuyck Shifley extensions?
I was shocked. Not shocked that they signed, but shocked that it was on Thanksgiving and right before the season. I wasn't expecting like the same deal for both of them, but I'm happy for it that they want to stay and they committed, and because most people thought they would be gone, including me, Jeremy, and you at some point. I'm happy though that they stayed.
Jeremy, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I was shocked too, you know. That long, and I mean they're already 30, you know.
Yeah.
So I just hope later in the deal that, you know, it doesn't come back to bite us, but like Blake Wheeler did, you know. Thank God we bought him out, but yeah, no, it's exciting that players want to commit to Winnipeg, and you know they're good players. They're stars of this league.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's exciting that they want to commit, you know, long term. And everybody thought they were gone. Like, it's just crazy, eh? It just goes to show you that whatever you hear in the media, not always true, you know?
Yeah. No, there seems to be a culture shift for that, and we'll see if that. I just want to see people get back in the seats and full barn again, because I think this team deserves it.
For sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
You want to wrap it up, Jordan?
Yeah, well, thank you for watching, folks. Thank you, Jeremy, for coming on for your debut. It was good to have you.
Yep,
And
thanks
thank
for
you,
having me.
Michael, for coming on again. And we'll
You're
do
welcome.
this again, guys.
Sorry for the coughing, but we made it work.
Yeah. Well, sickness is a thing, so that's okay. So we'll see you again, folks. Hope you enjoyed the show. Bye-bye.